Shortly, Sam Delaney will be giving his opinion as he kicks off his newspaper review with the so-called illegal war. Talking to Sam about that after Charlotte with a rundown of what else is happening.
Thanks, Eamon. The Haitian government says the number of people known to have died in the country's earthquake has risen above 150,000. The count's based on bodies collected in and around the capital, Porto. David Cameron's expected to again claim that Britain is a broken society. It's his regular news conference this morning. Mr Cameron's likely to repeat his demand for the publication of a full report into the case of the two young brothers who tortured two other boys in Doncaster. And you can see what David Cameron has to say at recovery.
OK, here comes the newspapers. Here's Sam Delaney, the editor of Heat magazine's take on them. And Sam, this Iraq inquiry which we're talking about today, two defence secretaries today, and then a lot of legal advisors and legal secretaries are going to be quizzed as the week goes on. And this is the take.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's like the Christine Keeler pose, right? That famous one.
No,
okay.
not really.
Yes, I was just going to ask what we both thought of the term cougar. A lot of people say it's very misogynistic, but you're for it, Charlotte.
Well, I just think, why not? Yeah.
No, yes.
The cougar is a beautiful animal. I will say that much.
Yes.
Elegant, beautiful,
so is it the term
and dignified.
That people are objecting to then? The fact that it's
they
seen
don't
as a
like it.
predatory
They don't like the fact that they are being labelled like a predatory animal. Yes. But like
I say,
the
cougar seems to have a lot of life, a lot of energy, to just be a dirty old git, really.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing dignified or elegant sounding about that.
Yeah. Bit of haggis to finish with.
Yeah, they banned him.
Let's get a rundown of what else is happening. Charlotte Hawkins with the news brief.
Eamon, thanks. David Cameron's expected to again claim that Britain is a broken society at his regular news conference this morning. Mr Cameron's likely to repeat his demand for the publication of a full report into the case of the two young brothers who tortured two other boys in Doncaster. Well, you can see what David Cameron...
Sky News Sunrise on a Monday morning. Sam Delaney from Heat magazine. He's got the newspaper review in just a few minutes' time. Charlotte on the news and leading that news. It's an air crash. He is the editor of Heat magazine and kicking off with the newspapers this morning.
Who is the dick? Exactly. I mean, she could be booking holidays. She's married to Ed Balls. They could both. Bob Ainsworth gave it away yesterday that it was going to be May the 6th. He's great, by the way, because he always makes gaffes. They shouldn't ministries. The Champions League, they're going to run them on every Wednesday in the Champions League. It has been suggested.
That's an easy answer for me, mate.
They should get the leaders, they should combine it and get the leaders to do half with them. Clegg and Cameron, they don't really know their football. Brown loves it. Clegg, the Liberal Democrat, cringing, it's perfectly natural, Eamon. She could be exactly sure when she was at her most fertile, so they would know when to attempt to conceive. They'd had trouble, they'd been trying for a year. As soon as they got the old Apple iPhone. Apple. Sponsored by Apple.
And don't
the baby...
tell me they've named the baby Apple or...
Just like Gwyneth and Chris.
Well...
So name
Did they call the baby Apple? Did they really?
They didn't, but I would be expecting some money from Steve Jobs for that. It's
her
not
name
a bad
was
idea
Lola, as the song said.
Child sponsored by...
I'm trying for a second. I'm going to download that.
Now, Swans is a lovely touching story.
Signets involved.
Ah, well, that's
They hadn't had any signets.
It's good for the kids.
So at least that's, there was not too...
Email front this morning.
We've had quite a response, actually, to what Yvette Cooper was just saying about this new scheme that the government's unveiling. So people are a bit sceptical about it has to be said. And also about the Iraq inquiry, they've been saying, are we really going to learn anything new? So there's a lot of scepticism around this morning, all in all.
OK, Sam, thank you very much indeed. That was Sam Delaney. That was your newspaper review. The website's posted. Ashish, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. And let's get a rundown now of what else is happening news-wise. Charlotte will bring you up to date.
Thanks, Eamon. Two former defence secretaries will face questions today about the Iraq war. Des Brown and John Hutton are likely to be asked about Britain's handling of the insurgency.
You can keep up to date all the developments on this on the Sky News website. A rundown of what else is happening with Charlotte. Then we're back and we're talking about cervical cancer and the age for screening, which is lower in Northern Ireland and Scotland and Wales than it is in England. We've got a tale to tell on that after this rundown.
Thanks, Eamon. Two former defence secretaries will face questions today about the Iraq war. Des Brown and John Hutton are likely to be asked about Britain's...
The family of a young mother who died of cervical cancer.
Frustrating to have the situation where this is preventable if it's detected early enough. The tools are out there, so it seems very unfair, I think, in the situation where it comes down to where you live. That must make it doubly hard that in some areas women do get this screening earlier, in other places they didn't. And from what I've read, I think, Kirsty felt very strongly about this, didn't she?
This is why we're continuing with this.
But what would you have gone for?
I would have gone for something else. I just think it's a bit boring.
But it will still go to number one. That's the main thing.
It will go to number one, and it will make an awful lot of money. And I guess that's the bottom line, isn't it? And it will tug at the heartstrings as well. That kind of song, because and that's important too, I suppose.
Yeah.
Now
Hits the right notes.
This Brad Pitt, Angelina.
It's not. That's the whole.
okay.
That's the worst thing. If
Well,
it
that's a
was,
good reason
it
to
was.
split up
I could
then.
forgive him.
Have you
but-
seen it,
I was
Charlotte?
going to say, you could forgive him anything, though, couldn't you?
Charlotte, you obviously haven't seen
This
this.
isn't good.
No,
It's
this isn't
really not
good.
good. And actually, he seems to have aged quite considerably. But then I guess that's what 6 children in a few years does to you, really.
Well,
And how can you have joint custody if they're all going to live with her?
Well, I think it's because for them, he's obviously still acting and working, so he'll be away a lot. I mean, they do have very separate schedules anyway. I mean, they have to, because they're earning a huge amount of money.
in your case, you've got it right. All that. What have you had done to yours? Charlotte was a model. You'll not be surprised to hear in a
not
previous
done
life.
anything.
Oh,
I used
come
to put up
Her
with
lip.
years of being called rubber lips at school and everything. So it's only, when you're older that you can actually appreciate it. I'm glad now
You're
that
having the last laugh.
full of
now,
lips
aren't
are in
you?
You're not
vogue,
claiming
yeah.
those are your own, are
They
you?
are all my own.
Are
I've
they?
had no work done to these, I'll have you know.
Angelina's got big lips, hasn't she?
She does have big lips, but I think hers are all natural as well.
I think they are.
Hers are brilliant as well. Now,